Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Tactics. This is your host, Nadia Saleem. And if you follow us on social media, you know what it's about. And if not, I've got you. This is a video chat show where we bring together experts and influencers from Computan team to discuss a wide range of topics that matters to developers, marketers, and tech lovers. I'm thrilled to introduce today's guest who brings over a decade of expertise to our virtual table. Our guest is not only a seasoned project manager, but also a cornerstone of Computan's success story, having dedicated 13 years to navigating an ever evolving landscape of technology and integrations. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Rashid Ali.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Nadia, for having me, and I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show today, Rashid. So, for our audience, Rashid, could you please share with us what you do at Computan?
Well, my primary responsibility right now is as a project manager, and I am looking forward to projects that are related to custom application development, integrations,
Mhm.
or any hybrid project development, such as HubSpot plus the backend integrations.
Right. Let's talk about the HubSpot integrations. So, tell us the types of integrations HubSpot offers, or what kind of integration request you receive from clients.
HubSpot itself is a very dynamic platform. It has a part for the CRM. It has a CMS. It has a lot of good tools for marketing and collaborations. So HubSpot provides a lot of APIs that allows you to retrieve or insert data to the platform, and it totally depends on what type of data a client is looking to sync. So we can kind of sync almost anything, but majorly our integrations are related to the CRM, because
Mhm.
most of the organization are using already using some CRMs for their accounting system or their other internal task management systems. But
Mhm.
they do find HubSpot as a really great marketing tool, so they want to switch over the marketing strategies to HubSpot and use their
Mhm.
tools and mechanisms to evolve their business. So for that purpose, usually we get requests to integrate HubSpot with NetSuite and Accelerate, Salesforce, MS Dynamics, MindBody. I'm just
Mhm.
naming a few, but visually we can integrate HubSpot with any CRM that exists today, and that has a stable API where we can use their endpoints to kind of send the data or retrieve the data after authorizing, authenticating, and authorizing.
Rashid, let's discuss the compatibility assessment. So, what steps do you take to assess the compatibility of various systems for integration with HubSpot?
As we have already talked about, that HubSpot is a CRM. So CRM is mainly related with the customers and entities that are related to the customers.
Mhm.
Whenever we talk about integrating with HubSpot, we first of all, I think the basic thing is that these other system must have a stable API, and they must provide some authentication and authorization mechanism that where they can validate that the person who is requesting the data is a valid person. And once we ensure that the system does provide an API, and the API documentation is kind of good for the developers to follow, the next step for the integration compatibility is to know that which entities from one system we want to sync the data to other system. And the entities can be such as common entities are companies, contacts, deals, products, line items. These are common entities. But it is quite possible that In the other system, they are named differently, but their purpose would be primarily the same that is in the HubSpot. I can give one quick example is that in some systems, companies are called customers, and so whenever we know that the customer want to a client wants to sync the customers with the companies, we know they are basically the same entities. And then for the compatibility, you also have to ensure that sometimes some entities have multiple entities in one system can map to a single entity in HubSpot, such as in some system there are two separate entities for opportunities and sale orders. But in HubSpot,
Mm-hmm.
we have only one entity that is deals. And so when we are integrating the system with HubSpot, we map both opportunities and sale orders with the deals in HubSpot. And once these basic things are verified, we can confirm that we are ready to kind of integrate XYZ system with HubSpot.
Right. And Rashid, you mentioned estimation for integration projects. So tell us the
Yes.
best way to prepare an estimate for an integration project.
Preparing an estimate for the integration is always a very tricky task because some basic things you know very clearly that how many entities are involved, what direction the data is flowing. Is it a one-way integration or is it two-way integration? And
Mm-hmm.
and the main thing is that sometimes we very struggle to find one key piece of information from clients, that is the field mapping, that okay, we know these are the entities and they want to flow the data from a system to HubSpot, but what are the number of fields, so that we really usually have to struggle and know that whether they are want to intend to sync 10 fields or 15 fields, or maybe some integrations may have 70 to 80 as well. So as the number of fields increases, the estimation effort has to be increased. So sometimes we don't get this key information, so we have to then go with the ballpark estimations and then proceed with the implementation. And then when we get the information, then we can confirm that okay, these are the fields. Then there are business rules, because with the integrations we are focused on data from one system to another. We really don't have any clue of the business logic that their front end CRMs or the systems have implemented. So as sometimes that can be a key contributor. If there are too many business rules, then your estimate can scale up pretty high. And I would also like to mention one another key thing that really matters when we are estimating an integration is the data exceptions. Because what happens is that all the systems evolve over time, and some business rules also evolve with time. A- a- and what happens is that when we try to sync the all the historical data, so we comes to know that okay, this rule was applied just 1 year ago, and all the data before that does not have that rule, and that invalidates that business logic. And then we would have to handle those exceptional cases separately to the business logic that we have already implemented with the latest data. So that is another key. And finally, the last thing that's really minor, but we would need to know that what is the frequency of this thing? Is it going to run every 5 minutes, every hour, or just 24 hours a day? So that can determine that what type of server resources we would need, of whether we can work on a shared hosting or we have to dedicate a whole server, because the data frequency is too high that it might cripple the other integration on the server as well.
Rashid, let's discuss some popular integration and future aspirations. So tell us about the most popular integration you usually get, like the names of the tools that most clients ask to integrate. Also, tell us about one tool that has yet to ask for but that you wish to connect with someday.
First of all, on the popular integrations, I think we get asked a lot to integrate with NetSuite, and
Mm-hmm.
we have had some hybrid projects done that involves Accelerate and the last one is Mindbody. So these are two or three common ones, but there are others, but these are the most common. And the second question is about one tool. I think we have already done majorly about 50 plus integrations, and that means that we have had a chance to integrate most of the system. In some cases, we had to repeat some systems for an integration, but we have done a lot of integration. All the popular ones have been implemented by us. So I mean, any out of the way integrations that is there that has an API, we will be definitely happy to integrate and sync the customers' data from one system to another.
Moving on to some challenges faced by HubSpot users. So, what are the problems HubSpot users face when getting a custom integration built?
Um, uh, I think I would like to take this question on that level, that what kind of problems we generally face when we are doing an integration is that sometimes the data, like I said, the data exceptions are so weird and so uncontrollable that we really have to spend more time on handling the exception cases than we have spent on actually building the connection and ensuring that all the required data is moving from one system to another with all the business logic. I can relate one incident where the client's business logic required them to have duplicate contacts in their source system, and as anyone who has knowledge of HubSpot knows that HubSpot does not allow you to have a duplicate contact or customer, because each individual customer having a unique email address can only be added once into HubSpot. But with that integration, we have had a case where customer wanted all the duplicates to be inserted to HubSpot as well. I think maybe one with the email and all the others without email, and then we had to build a lot of yeah, custom deduplication logic to handle all those additional data when something updates in one system or the other. And it was kind of, we had to do another 20 plus functional requirements to handle the deduplication logic. So that was the only deduplication logic was itself
Mhm.
pretty complex than the whole integration that we had already done.
And Rashid, assistance with mapping integrations. So, mapping and integration takes time, and clients don't know how to do it. So, how do you help in situations like that?
In these situations, we what we do is to we kind of provide them some sort of sample field mapping documents, so they know that okay, these are the common fields that for each entity usually users sync, and then that gives them a basic idea of how the integration and the field mapping works, and then they can take that document and then can add additional fields or remove the one they don't need, and then they usually come back with us. It does take some time with some users. They are quick, they can come back to us within 5 to 6 working days. Some users do take some time, and we often have to help them over some meetings on how to determine the number of fields that they want to sync to the other system. So somehow we are able to manage and extract this information from customers and then implement the systems.
And with that note, thank you so much, Rashid, for sharing your insights and expertise with us today. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's the same time. Thank you for having me. Really enjoyed the conversation.
Likewise, and to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Tactile. Stay curious, stay innovative, and until next time, keep exploring the ever expanding universe of technology. Take care, everybody.